Hey, what's up, guys? I hope you guys are doing well. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School, and it is actually after midnight Central Time and after 1 Eastern Time. And believe it or not, we just woke up from a nap. And you guys know we're training for our first marathon together. It'll be Alicia's second marathon, my first one. And we have 3 miles we got to do today, which isn't much, but we promised ourselves we'd do our miles every day like we're supposed to. So literally, we are going to do our run late at night. Anyway, I wanted to hit something real quick. What's going on, Quentin? How are you? Something that I saw that I thought was really interesting. I'd like to get your guys' take on it. I don't know if you guys know Wesley Snipes was asked recently about the remake of New Jack City. And I don't know if any of y'all, I assume most of y'all saw New Jack City, living just enough for the city now, living just for the city, living just enough. Anyway, that was a really cool movie back in the day. And some of y'all may even be old enough to remember it as an actual like new release, which says that you're probably old as fuck, but it's all right because I remember it as a new release, which means I'm talking about myself. And anyway, let's see. I see somebody say I love the podcast. Says Jordan. Thank you very much. Quentin saw it. Hey, Lady Marmalade from Virginia. DJ Smooth says don't do it. Joe Cooper from Houston. What's going on? I agree with you, Angel. Wesley Snipes. New Jack City was one of a kind, and I think Wesley Snipes is one of a kind. He's one of my favorite actors, and I just think he's, I like the brother. I think he's cool. I mean, based on the way he's presented himself in public. But anyway, first of all, I'd like to get your opinion. I don't have much time. Alicia and I are about to load up and take off. And Alicia, you can answer the question too if you want to. She's crashed out on the couch because we were over here napping. I'm not going to turn the camera on you because I don't want you to.
Oh,
Y'all should see what I'm seeing. It's kind of funny. There she is, real quick. I'm not gonna embarrass her too much. But anyway, did you hear that New Jack City? First of all, give me a yes or no, guys. Give me a yes or no. Do you think that it's a good to reboot and remake New Jack City? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no. Lavanette. I'm sorry, Lavanette. What do you think? Okay. Third rail says no. Wayne says no. D Prince no. Will no. Stephanie no. Suzanne, no. I'm seeing a lot of no's. I see hell no from DJ Smooth. Okay, what do you think, babe? Do you think that remaking New Jack City is a good idea? How would
I
you feel?
think it is.
Would you want to see it if it was remade?
I don't think it is because that was like one of the policies. Wasn't New Jack City like the drug king story?
Yeah, you don't remember that when he went up in there and he went and took over the projects and
Hmm.
pulled the dude out and, when he was naked and
Okay, and isn't that like around the time when they had like mandatory sentencing? Like, didn't it shape policy, that movie?
really you think it shaped policy?
You know, it shaped people's opinion about the
Mm.
drug king
You
and
know, it really.
what should happen to those mandatory 20-year sentencing and
It was right before Bill Clinton began his Nazi extermination plan for
was
for the
that
African American male.
so I mean
It was back when black children had fathers.
that movie was New Jack City. That was with Chris Rock, right?
Yeah, Chris Rock played Pookie, which was our first introduction to Chris Rock, I think, on a big
As a
stage anyway.
crackhead, right?
Yeah, it be calling me, man. It be calling me. Your boy Alan Payne was in it. Apparently, Alan Payne still does Tyler Perry stuff, and he still looks the same, which is weird. And Ice T was in it, who was the rapper who hated cops, who played a cop, which was very strange.
So
Uh,
he sold out. He sold out
well,
so bad.
Ice T was impressive because Ice T was in the movie. Was he in Beat Street? He was breakdancing in Beat Street, or maybe it wasn't Beat Street. Maybe it was even before Beat Street. Y'all remember when Ice T was breakdancing in that movie? Ice T still looks kind of he don't look the same, but he still looks pretty young. Like I'm waiting for these people to get old. It doesn't happen. Breaking. It was it Breaking.
It might have
He
been
wasn't in
breaking.
Breaking.
It may have been breaking
I don't
because
remember him in Breaking, but maybe he was in Breaking because I see people saying Breaking. We need to watch Breaking again, babe. We need to go
yeah,
on our
sure.
Black movie night. Watch Breaking. I like Turbo. Turbo is my favorite character in Breaking. Turbo can dance. I want to dance like Turbo. By the way, could you hit the thumbs up button? If everybody could, real quick, please hit the thumbs up button and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. Hit the notification bell, please. You might want to look closer at Ice-T, says William. Okay, so he's finally aging, which like everybody else. Yeah, so anyway, so
That movie kind of marks like the demise.
it
Our
was like a,
demise.
when you were young, watching as a young person, it came off cool, right? But when you watch it, like when I look at it now, it's not a movie I want to see again because it was so sad and depressing to see all those beautiful black people being taken down by this crack epidemic, what the government did when they put all that crack in the black community. Because remember at that time, we didn't know the CIA was responsible for letting all that crack into black neighborhoods. And that would derail our progress. That plus mass incarceration, because you had black people either getting hooked on the drugs, going to prison for the drugs, or being killed over the drugs, or being traumatized by the killing addiction and violence it was the killing addiction and incarceration happening around them, right? So you either had survivors of that era, which I guess I'm in that category, or you had people that were incarcerated or dead or hooked.
It
And a
wiped out
lot
an
of people,
entire generation
it did.
of black people.
Yes, it did. Totally wiped us out. Like did
So
a
we need to be reminded now of that.
mm, they did a Native American on us. Like all those people, seriously,
Poor Native
between the
American.
CIA and Clinton's policies and we can't and I don't forgive them to this day for any of that shit. Like a lot of dumb Negroes out here be like, oh well, that's the past, but they don't understand the past impacts the present. Like a lot of these kids on reality shows who are acting crazy, like in their 20s and 30s, were babies during that time. They were because and a lot of them didn't have no parents. They'd be like, oh yeah, I just reconnected with my mama. She's been hooked on drugs for 15 years, whatever. My daddy's been locked up since I was two. And a lot of if you tell me yes or no, give me a yes or no. Do you know one black person who was either killed during the 90s, sent to prison? It's 80s or 90s. Do you know somebody who was either killed, incarcerated, or drug addicted? Give me a yes or no. Yes or no if you have one person that you know or that was in your family who was either killed from a drug related incident, incarcerated over drugs, or addicted to drugs. Name one person. Somebody says, "Boys, please sit down. Hold the camera still." I wish I could, but I can't. I'm trying. I'm supposed to be getting ready because Alicia's probably mad that I even went live because we about to. Well, she
I
ain't
tried
mad.
to wake you up. I don't know how many times
You
you won't get
did, didn't you?
up.
You did. Okay, I see a lot of yeses up in here. And that just shows what happened. I mean, I could say yes, right? Because I have people. My best friend Greg got shot in the head in front of his daughter when she
Was
was
it
three.
that was drug related?
Yeah, yeah. It was his girlfriend. From what I understand, his girlfriend's brother was in the game, and they came to his house looking for money and ended up shooting him and killing him in front of his daughter. And his daughter is now she just got married,
Oh, I
and she
remember.
said to me, she said something to me about. She said, "Do you have any recordings of my father? Because I've never heard my father's voice." And I'm like, I can hear your
No,
father's. Yeah, and I told her, I said, I can
still.
I can hear your father's voice in my head, but I don't have any recording of that. I can't play it for you. And my father went to prison for drugs, my biological father, from what I understand, from what I've been told by relatives. And and so a lot of us have loved ones who were addicted. We all got addicts in our family. That's what they do. That's just what they do. That's what they did. And I think that we can't forget that. So I think remaking New Jack City would not be interesting. Like I kind of feel like if they remade it, don't know if I'd want to see that story unless it was a modernized story that was like a follow up, that where maybe instead of it being surrounded by sort of glorifying drug culture, maybe Nino Brown is getting out of prison and he's got a son and he goes back and reconnects with his son, or there's like a triumphant angle to it. I don't think I'd want to see it as like a modernized drug kingpin kind of thing because we got to stop glorifying that kingpin bullshit. Even Rick Ross, his old fat ass out here rapping about, like, hey, boss, selling coke from Miami, boss. It's not cool. It's just not. That's not what we represent as black people. That's not who we are. So, but here's the funny thing, right? Usually, when a celebrity bashes a remake of a movie they were involved with, I'm a cynic, but I assume that it's usually about the money. That basically there was a conversation, the money wasn't right, and the person basically has said, "I'm not going to support." your film. Like I really believe that a lot of people who say that they don't want to see it remade would probably have said yes if the money was right, or if their celebrity, if the favorite celebrity, like for the fans to say, no, 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 we don't need to remake that movie. If y'all didn't know, if y'all thought, if I told you Wesley Snipes was going to be in it, and he was excited about it, I don't really know if a lot of people would have still said no. I think a lot of people might have said no because they ride with Wesley and they're like, well, if Wesley don't like it, I don't like it either. And because celebrities are the original social media influencers, that's why they want celebrities on board with films, is because when they get their endorsement, that can make a difference for box office sales. So I believe that they're not going to do well with this movie because New Jack City is Wesley Snipes, right? He is a big part of that brand. And if you can't get him to support your project, which I don't know. Again, I just really believe I wouldn't be surprised if it was a money thing, like if the. So I don't think it's going to do well. No, I think just from my personal standpoint, I feel like black people move forward, and I think we should focus on that. But you got to remember too, another thing that makes me a skeptic is at the same time Wesley Snipes is saying New Jack City shouldn't be made, and some things should be left in the past. Y'all do know what movie he's working on now, right? How many of y'all know what movie Wesley Snipes is releasing now? I'm not dissing it. I'm not going to diss it at all because I'll probably see it because it seems interesting. But what movie, somebody guess, what movie do you think Wesley Snipes is working on now? Can anybody guess what that movie is? Yep, Iceman, Dolomite. So he's working on Dolomite. I mean, so I'm not dissing Wesley at all. This is not a diss at all. But because actually Dr. Claude Anderson talks about Wesley and says Wesley Snipes is in support of things like powernomics and things that I believe in. So I'm sure that if I knew him, I would like him as a person. But, I'm kind of like, okay, bro, you putting out Dolomite, and you're saying that New Jack City should be left in the past. I kind of feel like Dolomite might be in that category too. But, when Eddie Murphy's involved, he's so funny, he's so good, he's so talented. We've been waiting for him for so long. Do you know I've liked almost every single movie Eddie Murphy has ever made. There's two filmmakers,
All of Eddie Murphy's movies?
almost all of them. Yeah, the thing about it is like there's two types of yes, there's two strands of movies that I almost always love. Mm-hmm. Movies by Eddie Murphy and others by the Wayans family.
Wayans brothers, they do a good job.
Yeah, they are so creative. Like the Wayans family is the most creative entertainment family in Hollywood. Which ain't saying much because there's probably more creative families outside of Hollywood. Because Hollywood is a fucked up place. What you say? The Netflix one? Yeah, they had that movie Sextuplets. The youngest one did, which was really good. And then
and the metaphysical movie about when he went to marry that woman.
Oh, because he kept on was he dreaming? Oh, he kept living the same day. And wasn't he kept showing up naked to the wedding.
That's the name of the movie.
Naked?
It's a great movie.
Yeah, like they have like what they do is they'll pick one concept and the whole movie will be about that one concept. So they have Sextuplets, and then they had Naked every time he was naked. Then they had another one like that where he was he could see and hear everything really, really well, and it was driving him crazy. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, every time they put out a movie, I know it's going to be good. Going all the way back to I'm Going to Get You, Sucker.
White Girls, whatever movie there was, I don't know.
I thought White Girls was funny, but you're right, though. It is a stretch because you got two black men putting on dresses, and I'm sick of that shit.
But they weren't really... Who are they fooling? Like, they didn't look anything like white women.
Right, it was almost like they were making fun of white girls. So it's hard to say. I mean, I guess I would let them get away with that one because they're so good at everything else. But White Girls was funny.
Yeah.
But it wasn't funny.
It was funny. It was.
It was funny, but not funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, But anyway, somebody said, okay. Melia says, may I ask a question? Mela says that, of course you can ask a question. But you shouldn't. What people do.
That's a polite, I love.
I know. But the hard part is that when there's a lot of questions coming through and somebody says, may I ask a question? I usually don't see the question because I'll miss it. So if somebody wants to know if they should ask a question, they should just ask the question. Terry Crews is funny as fucking White Girls. That's right, Terry Crews is in White Girls.
He was good.
And then 5 years later, he's complaining because some white man grabbed his vagina. He's part of the MeToo movement.
Okay, he can be part of the like MeToo movement.
I'm not part of the MeToo movement. The MeToo movement is a incarceration trap for black men because they believe you can accuse anybody of anything and have no evidence and send them to prison or ruin their career. I have no support for that. You're gonna accuse somebody of some shit, you gotta show me some proof. Much gratitude due, Sis Sunray. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
So,
What you say, man?
what proof do you need, boys? Like, seriously.
Well, I think that when somebody's life is on the line, and you're about to destroy them, I think that you need some evidence. At the very least, if you claim a crime was committed, people have the right to ask you, why didn't you file a police report? Now, some people may say, oh, because I was scared and I
A lot of
didn't.
people
Well,
do file police reports and nothing happens.
yeah, well, to me, if you could show proof, like show me where the report was filed, you know what I mean? Like show something to show that it happened, or or I texted my mom right after and said this is what happened to me, or I told, like I think that the problem is like,
I know people who've been sexually assaulted, like seriously sexually assaulted, and they have evidence, text messages, and the police don't even take them seriously. Like the police are like, whatever.
yeah, and that's the
I've
problem.
had that happen to people, and I'm not
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Then they should be suing the police. Like if you're
who's
gonna
gonna sue the police
if
department?
you come back years later, 25 years later, and the cops did nothing about it,
Yeah.
then then document. I mean, it's not to say that it's not to blame anybody who might be a victim.
Like victim
It's to
blaming.
say that we have a thing called proof and evidence that is required before you ruin somebody's life. Because I could go,
I hear what you're
I
saying.
could go in, I could
know
go,
how I feel. You know
right.
I absolutely agree with you, boys.
Right, I could go into Sunray. Sunray asks, "Have you been to Australia?" No, I have not. I will be. I'm going to go one day. And I could go and say, "Sunray raped me yesterday." What? Or no, better yet, I could say he raped me in 1995, right? And that would be, and it's like, why? I mean, if why would people just believe that just because I said it? They shouldn't. They should vet that information. Like that's it. You should vet that before you
So
destroy
if you
innocent
have,
person's
okay,
life.
so if you have proof, suppose you do have proof, it just never made it up to law, because it's really hard to convict somebody of rape.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how I feel. You know I absolutely agree with you. Mm-hmm. You know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree. But it's just hard in my position because I have firsthand experience of people who legitimately been raped, and they get totally humiliated by the system
I agree.
and dismissed by police officers, and the false positives, and the
And I would say that people like that are not as likely to then 10 years later go on Twitter and tell the whole world something happened. They're going to usually keep it to themselves.
Yeah, because
I think
they're
the people,
terrified by the experience.
right?
They're mortified by
right,
it.
exactly. So to me, the people who are doing that, it's hard. It's a little bit confusing for people when you tell me, you know, you're so afraid to tell anybody because you got humiliated, but yet you come out on Twitter and you tell a million people and the whole press. Like you're telling the press and you're filing lawsuits. You're
Yeah, I understand
Gloria
what you
Allred.
mean. It's just hard.
Like because
Yeah,
that's very bold, aggressive action.
I agree with you.
Yeah, and even Lisa Bloom, Gloria Allred's daughter, told Harvey Weinstein in that memo. She said, if you keep asking questions and looking into their past, you'll find a lot of these women are lying. Like and they don't because they don't do these public Me Too shout outs when with dudes that are poor and not famous. They do it against rich, famous men because they can get attention and they can get money.
You gotta see the documentary on Hulu about Weinstein. You should watch it. It's
I
pretty
think,
interesting.
well, I think Harvey Weinstein is definitely problematic sexually because Dame Dash told me about Weinstein 2 years before all that happened. Back when Weinstein was still the man in Hollywood, I remember talking to him about that, and so I give shout out to him for the fact that
He knew some stuff was happening.
well, he cussed out Weinstein. I had a conversation with Vlad from Vlad TV, and I was talking to Vlad, and Vlad basically brought up what Dame did with Harvey Weinstein. He said when Harvey Weinstein he said yeah, he cussed out Harvey Weinstein in front of everybody, and he was bringing it up like that was not cool, like whoa, like you can't do that, right? You shouldn't be cussing out Harvey Weinstein in public like that, because Harvey Weinstein was very respected. But then I remember later on, literally Dame bringing it up. I didn't even ask him about it. I just kind of heard it, and I hear things, and I just don't. I was like, okay, I was like, well, I'll just evaluate things as I see it. Dame independently brought that up, and he said, yeah, he's a creep, he's a pervert, he's nasty, he does these nasty things with women. I won't even repeat what he said. That he does. It wasn't rape, but it was like he would take them in the kitchen and just do these nasty things around the food, and he's like,
Yeah, it was really bad. And Woody Allen's daughter also was another one in
mm,
that documentary on Hulu, who
mm,
was like, she's come out about it, she's talked about it, she's reported it, she's talked about all these things, and thought something was going to actually happen, and nothing happened.
no,
This is back in the day, so there were a lot of people who were coming out.
mm-hmm,
I'm not, I totally, how I feel. You know how I feel
mm-hmm.
about the Me Too and how bizarre that whole thing was. The killing part about it were a lot of women who were really taken advantage of.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
I
just some
think,
real.
I think I agree with you, and I think that it's like in a way it kind of needed to happen, and maybe it needed to over happen the way that it did to wake people up because I think it adjusted men's behavior. But then after you kind of come out hard, you got to scale it back
Yeah.
to maintain the credibility of
Yeah.
accusation because you're getting to the point where the backlash is so strong that people are like, I'm not believing anything anybody says now. You know what I mean? And that's not accurate either, right? So it's like you overshot the mark, then you got to recalibrate,
Yeah, I
you know,
really do.
and
We
and
need more accuracy
yeah,
with
that's
that
all it
whole
is.
thing.
If you give me accuracy, I can
Yeah.
support it, right? But I think there's some things, and there needs to be. Matt Damon made that point, and they beat Matt Damon up for this.
Yeah.
But Matt Damon made an excellent point very early, and all the feminists attacked him for it. But he said, you got to understand there's a continuum. He said there's, the rapist on one end, and then there's the guy who did nothing on the other, and there's a lot of stuff in between.
Yeah.
And he said, so you can't, somebody tells a woman that you look sexy in that dress, that's not the same as the guy who tried to rape you in your hotel room.
Exactly.
Right.
I
And
mean, and I think that's the point I'm trying to make too. It's just that I know so many women that do come out. Like things will happen to them right at that moment. They'll go to the police. They'll try to like, and the system kind of buries them and says, no, this is gonna be. You're gonna have to deal with this for the next 3 years of your life. And just it's not very victim friendly.
I can
You
definitely
know.
I can definitely agree with that. And I
Yeah.
think I compare it a little bit to like I think racial we need a racial Me Too
We
movement.
sure do.
Right? Where we can go back and publicly accuse, companies that we work for of being
And I
racist.
got plenty of evidence.
Right, right. And I think that
Yeah.
and I think that it would be okay if somebody had an expectation that says, if you're going to make that public accusation, show us proof that you were doing something about it then. And you can and then you can go back and say, yeah, I remember here's documentation where I filed something with human resources, they didn't listen. I was talking about it. Like when I say Syracuse University was a racist university when I worked for them.
You got proof.
I got proof. I got proof because
Yeah.
I fought them motherfuckers in public, and I was like, this is bullshit, and I was the crazy one, but I was like, I'm not backing down, so that to me, it would be very different if I was quiet and complicit. And the whole time I was like, this is a wonderful school. I love this school. Did you know Syracuse is so great? It's so wonderful, y'all. And then years later, I'm like, let me tell you what they did to me, right? That looks suspicious to me. It almost looks like I'm disgruntled because, they let me go or something like that. And like, no, I was bitching about that shit back when I was gainfully employed
Yeah.
and well taken care of. I was still like, I'm getting paid, but y'all fucked up. Like you're not promoting or hiring black people. What's wrong with you? So I think that should be the requirement. I think that this whole idea of like I can just come back and tell a story
Yeah.
and everybody's gonna believe me and I'm gonna make money. Like that to me is another issue too, right? When you publicly accuse somebody of a crime and you go for the money before you go to the cops, that says you want the bankroll more than you want the justice. Like you're not really looking for the justice. Because to me, it's like if somebody committed a crime, you're supposed to go to the police. When you're going for the money first, that means you're basically like, I'm going to take a stab in the dark. And that's another thing Lisa Bloom actually pointed out. She said, with this woman, she was pointing out one particular woman who basically, Lisa Bloom was basically saying to Harvey Weinstein, she said, now here she is, she's a women's advocate. She represents a lot of these women. Her mother does. They're known for that. And she literally said something like, yeah, well, maybe we can point out the fact that she has nothing going on and is struggling for money. And that's why she's really pushing you because she knows she can get money out of you. Right. And that's the problem. You will never run out of broke ass people in Hollywood looking for a come up, right? Who will do anything to get a come up. I mean, if you go suck a dick to get a movie role, chances are you'll also, tell a lie to get $10 million I don't know. I think a lot of people. Would y'all? Let me ask y'all this. Be honest. Be real. Let's have a moment of clarity. How many of you would be tempted? Not that you would do this, because I know everybody in here. Nobody in here has ever told a lie. But how many of y'all would be at least tempted to tell a lie against your worst enemy if you thought you could get $10 million out of the deal? Anybody? Any takers in here? Just one little lie. Just talk about somebody that you knew 15, 20 years ago on a motherfucker. Think about an ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend that did you dirty, and you could just say, well, they were abusive, or tell some little lie. They touched my booty in 1998, and you could get $10 million for that. Would you be at least tempted? I'm not asking you to tell me if you would do it, right? Some of you, Manolo was saying no. That's a damn lie.
I believe her.
I believe it. I do.
Believe her.
But seriously, like if you had
Some people
to,
do
or
have
better yet, maybe instead of telling a lie, what if you just had to embellish the truth? Right? What if they said, well, but was he abusive? And then you might be like, yeah, I remember that time he yelled at me because it took me too long to put my socks on. Yeah, it was very abusive. He was emotionally abusive, right? Which is different from like, I got pictures of when he punched me in my eye, or I can show you police reports when I had to call the cops because he was beating my ass. Emotionally abusive could just mean somebody yelled at you. I've been yelled at. I could say that. I'm sure I have exes where I could be like, she was emotionally abusive, right? Because it happens, right? But was that as traumatizing as I could pretend like it was? No, probably not. I moved on. I got over it. But you never know. Maybe if I had an ex that was worth $1 billion, and I knew I could get her to write a quick check for $5 million to get me to shut up, but and not talk about our relationship. If you're desperate for money, it will change your behavior. Like we're watching Peaky Blinders right now. And what did I tell you in Peaky Blinders? I said Peaky Blinders is a finance class right now, because what's happening in that show right now, they're all doing very desperate shit because money's tight. When money gets tight, people do desperate shit. They'll tell a lie. They'll break their ethical codes. They'll do all kinds of. How many of y'all would do something illegal or unethical if you had to do it to feed your kids? How many of y'all, if your baby's starving, your baby needs new shoes, your baby's broke as fuck, and you can get $10 million by telling a little lie, would you at least be tempted to tell a little lie to get $10 million to feed your baby? If you say no, then you're a liar, and also you probably don't love your damn kids. That's the reality. So that's what it is. That's why I think in all these accusations and all that, you need to vet it, because if you don't, then you're going to have every desperate person, every crackhead, every liar, every whatever stepping up saying, oh, well, it happened to me too. Pay me, put me on the list. Send me my check. When I'm going to get my reparations? Because he was mean to me. I need reparations. No, shut up. So anyway. All right, well, we got to go. So long story short, let me end with Wesley Snipes. I'll say that I think Wesley is right. New Jack City does not need to be remade. I don't plan to go see a reboot of New Jack City, just like I didn't see the reboot of, what was it? It wasn't Shaft. They did do Shaft again. I didn't really see that. No disrespect to Shaft. I just wasn't inspired to see it. They did another one, Superfly. Remember they did that? And we had to, I think, how did we end up, because we didn't buy a ticket.
We saw another movie, and I think we walked in.
Just walked in just to see the end or something. Yeah. And I'm so glad I didn't spend money on that. And then there's and I don't think they should make a reboot. I think Wesley's reasons, I don't know what his reasons are for not supporting a reboot, but I agree with him.
You know what his reasons are. Wesley Snipes is one of the good ones.
He is one of the good ones, but I mean, at the same time though, like I said, I think you can't underestimate the power of financial negotiations, right? I'm sure I would wonder if they paid him enough money, because it ain't like Wesley's doors being beaten down by Hollywood.
What should be rebooted? What would you say? What black movie needs to be rebooted?
What black movie do y'all think needs to be rebooted? I think Coming to America, a reboot of that is awesome. I mean,
it's my favorite black movie.
I'm so glad they're doing that one.
And I want my kids to watch it, but it's just so much cursing in there and so many innuendos.
Maybe Poetic Justice or something. You didn't like that?
Poetic Justice?
Yeah. Love Jones. Oh, yeah, The Inkwell. Man, The Spook Who Slept by the Door. They got to change the title of that one.
I like that movie, though.
Claudine. Claudine was good.
Claudine was good because they were together at the end.
Mm-hmm. Give me some more movies. Bruce Leroy. See Peace and Ammo. You ain't right.
Movie.
You like Bruce Leroy? Didn't I have the Last Dragon guy in it or something?
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, I thought you said you had a crush on him when you were little.
Yeah.
The Mac, no thank you. Raisin in the Sun, Imitation of Life.
They should bring back those those movies like whatever. Remember those black exploitation movies, and they were like, "We gonna teach the man a lesson," you know? When they were
Mm.
like, "We gonna get the man."
Well, so I guess some of the black exploitation movies are
The
better than
one when they
others.
were like fighting against the police.
I don't remember that one.
They did. They
You know
had
the
a
one
movie. It was Jackie Brown.
With,
Not Jackie
with Bill
Brown.
Cosby and Sidney Poitier?
Pam Grier. The Pam Grier movies. When they were taking
Oh,
down the police, they were sticking it to the
when she had the
man.
afro.
Yeah.
Was it Cleopatra Jones? Is that what she
I
was?
can't remember the name of the movie.
So it's a
But
Meteor Man, Cooley High, Jackie Brown, Blackula, Money Talks, Foxy Brown. That's right.
Foxy Brown. Yeah, when they were like, we gonna stick it to the man. You know, those are good ones.
Dead Presidents. Now, Dead Presidents, good motherfucking movie. That was a classic movie for me. I love that movie. Like I watched that movie over and over. We got to watch Dead Presidents again. We should let the kids watch it, but it's so violent though.
It's
It's very violent. The baby would probably freak out. She wouldn't like that.
nervous breakdown.
Chubb said cornbread. I've never heard. Have you heard of a movie called?
Yes,
Oh,
I've heard that. I've seen that movie. And there's another movie called Hero Ain't Nothing But a Sandwich. It is great.
Hero Ain't Nothing But a Sandwich?
Hero Ain't Nothing But a Sandwich. It is so good.
I've never heard of that one.
We have to watch it.
Yes.
A hero ain't nothing but a sandwich.
I think I might. I think I might. I'm gonna put Dead Presidents on my list of movies I gotta
I
watch.
want to revisit that again with my new set of eyes.
What? Hero Ain't Nothing But a Sandwich or Dead Presidents?
Dead Presidents. I want
Yeah.
to see that again.
I think I related to it. I thought Lorenz Tate did a great job. I think it reminded me of my father coming back from Vietnam, because he reminded me of my dad. His character did, like this little short, feisty man who don't take no shit. My dad was like that. He was little, but I think he kind of had a complex about that. But he was very tough. Like my father's a very tough man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he wasn't no punk. Or he ain't no punk. You know.
Still ain't no punk.
No. No, he's all right. My daddy's all right. Hoodlum. You know,
Hoodlum was good. Is Hoodlum the movie where they outsmarted the white people at the end?
yeah, Dutch Schultz and all. It was about Bumpy Johnson.
Okay, I like movies like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
We gotta have movies where how they end means a lot.
Lean on Me, Tales from the Hood. Oh, Spice One had that song in Tales from the Hood. I'm born to die, one to the
Okay,
chest,
we
and
get into
one to the
Spice.
dome. If
Spice
they make
One.
they catch
Let
you
me
slipping,
put my
then your
shoes
ass
on.
is gone. Ain't no vest for your head, cause your brain getting blown. Somebody said Leprechaun in the Hood. You like that movie? We gotta watch that again. I think I saw that 20 years ago. I don't even remember what was in it. Sugar Hill,
Sugar
In Too
Hill
Deep.
was great.
That was good.
It was a good movie.
But I know a lot of people like Belly. I never saw Belly.
Oh, we gotta watch.
People
Belly.
almost act like it's a requirement for blackness.
Told you.
So Belly, I'm gonna watch
That's with DMX.
Belly and Dead Presidents, Bone, Beach Streets. All right. So anyway, we gotta go, guys. We can't sit here on this phone all day long. But anyway, by the way, I'll be in New York on the 27th of October. Dr. Alicia will be there with me if you want to meet her in person. So if you want to come to our event in New York, go to drboycenewyork.com. That's where we're doing an investment seminar in New York. It's going to be really good. Everybody loves our seminars. They're really, really good. Also, don't forget, join us at Blag Enough. Blag Enough is our social media platform. So if you're kind of sick of Facebook and you want a backup, a plan B, go to blagenough.com. I hope you'll go there and make an account. Also, last but not least, please hit the thumbs up button real quick if you can, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live again. So thumbs up, notification bell. And you also might want to go join the blackbusinessschool.com, theblackbusinessschool.com. You can not just talk to one of our specialists about your future plans and how we can help you, but also there's a free membership you can set up, at least get a free account, because we're going to do a Black Wealth conversation tomorrow night where I'm going to come into a class with students and just answer a bunch of financial questions. So if you want to get your money right and want to grow, go to theblackbusinessschool.com, theblackbusinessschool.com. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll keep you posted on our marathon. Woo! You excited?
I am very excited, boys. We got this.
First marathon ever. We're gonna do it together as a couple. She's gonna run with me. When am I coming to Jersey? No, but I'll be in New York. So get on the train. Come on over. You can hang out with us. October 27th, drboycenewyork.com. See you guys soon. Take care.